and welcome to your Friday's forecast, where today we'll be discussing the outlook for the currency pair dollar-yen. I'm joined by Forex and option strategist with Forecast, Shant Movsesian. Welcome, Shant. Now, let's start off with your 1 month prediction for the dollar-yen. What can you see happening there?
Well, at a month's time, you're looking at the run up to December, so it's a bit of a tricky one. Obviously, you could call it anywhere up to 117.5. I would say probably be the limit. 118 at a push. Having said that, if they do delay the tax and there's elections and all sorts of uncertainty, then it could very well sort of push higher. So you've got the added confusion of December illiquidity as well, which could exacerbate moves. I mean, the basic premise is that 120 is now a target. It's just a case of when we're going to get there, which is probably going to lead on to your 3 month question as to where it'll be then. It probably will get there because you've also got the dollar side to consider. Dollar's relatively well bid as it should be. So 117 to 118, 117.50 to 118 for the 1 month, and I would imagine 120 plus at the very least for the 3 month.
You've just touched briefly on your 3 month prediction there. Can you explain this figure further?
Well, like I said, it's a two-pronged effect. Obviously, Japan surprised us with this sort of policies we saw 2 weeks ago. So they're clearly worried about the effects on growth, global demand. They're an exporting country. Obviously, they need demand to sort of keep their economy going, which in turn has been a problem for the Chinese. Obviously, they're an exporting country. So on that basis, there really is quite good reason to believe that there's a long way ahead for the Japanese economy to really get ahead of steam going. Whereas in the US and in the UK, obviously, it's a lot more there's a lot more domestic demand. So on that basis, 120 is a fair shout, really. And you look at the dollar elsewhere. I mean, we're talking 120 euro dollar and dollar Swiss above parity, Aussie down to 80. When you look at all these themes in the broader outlook, 120 is quite a fair shout on a medium-term basis.
Finally, let's look ahead to a year's time and your 12-month forecast. What do you foresee with the pair at this time?
Well, I mean, like I said, the headwinds you've got against all of what I've just said is the stock markets. I mean, they're really up at heady levels. I mean, that's another potential big hiccup for the yen pairs in general. But assuming that even if stock markets come off, assuming there's an orderly retraction in some of these, ridiculously high levels we're seeing in the S&P and Dow and even the European bourses, I don't think it'd be unreasonable to say 125, 130. In fact, I think that's quite a conservative call, really. But we've seen quite a sharp move through the 110 to 115 level, so it's not going to be all that kind of speed of pace throughout. So I'd say 130 in a year's time. If we were at 130, things would have remained pretty dull in Japan. But as I say, the stock markets will have been affected then as well. So from here to 120 plus is it could be quite easy. But then after that, you're thinking, well, hang on a sec. Do you really want to be long dollar yen? When there's all kinds of risks still in the market. Risk in general tends to hit the yen pairs, and so that can dislodge any sort of rally here, as we've seen in the early part of this week. I mean, post payrolls last Friday, it was quite an aggressive comeback. So, I personally look at the options market as well. And what we see is that the risk reversal skew is still pointing to the downside, even though we've come up a long way. So, people are worried that if it does come back, it can come back sharply. And for many years, I've been in the market nearly 20 years, and dollar yen's always been a slow grind higher in most cases, and the pullback is always quite severe. Hence the risk, and hence the premium for pricing in downside strikes.
Thanks, Shant. It's been great to speak with you. That's all from your forecast for this Friday, but don't worry, we'll be bringing you another edition on Monday, so for now, have a great weekend.